So with the game being out now, it has been interesting to see where everybody is in sort of price tags. Now obviously a lot of people don't want to be spending 50, 40, 60k a position. I'd be looking at more of the cheaper options, especially to start the game with. You want to kind of get that base team in, you want to make sure you've got the chemistry, you've got the players in, and you want to be able to build it for very cheap. Now there is obviously quite a few leagues that you can kind of go through, and naturally if you want to build chemistry, picking a nation, picking a league is going to be the easiest until we get icons, until we get heroes, until we get managers, and then just loads of different players that have that chemistry bonus. To start with, I still can't pronounce his name, but in general, we have picked a few players that might be worth having a look at to get some evos in as well. We've seen the likes of Rashford. I've done a review on him already on the second channel. He's already 30,000 coins. We've seen Marmoush at 90,000. They are fantastic, but they are quite expensive if you was to try and do that per position. Now 1.9 for him, I do think he's going to be one that could be well worth looking into for an evolution. It looks like the evolutions are going a lot slower. Verifying the human, how many times are we going to get that today? But in general, click, we are going to kind of see a slower turnaround of upgrades, which I'm hoping is a big factor to keep players like this to some extent. Like, I don't want an 80 in December, but I mean, even if it just gets them up to an 83, 84, but the curve is so much slower. Pace seems to be a massive thing when it comes to wingers at the moment, because defenders obviously are a little bit slower. They haven't quite got that pace upgrade, and naturally everybody's teams at the minute are a bit. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics, and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. Out of shape. Everyone's got like a nice striker, a good centre back, maybe one good midfielder, but the whole team isn't as a unit. So it does make the wingers a little bit more powerful, and defending seems to be a bit more tricky. I've seen it everywhere. I know it's not just me. So a great start to it, great evolution. On the theme of wingers, you've obviously got Madueke, beautiful right wing if you want, pure pace, and yes, the final product, it reminds me of Adama. You're going to have masses of paces on that wing. The shooting's going to be questionable. To be honest, Madueke's got not terrible composure at the start of the game. Agility balance is up there, and the big thing as well, if you are looking at any of these players, the skill move is massive. Like the actual, if you can get dribbling down to a T, the close coordinating dribbling at the moment is fantastic until people really learn how to defend it, how to play a switch, how to kind of set up. You got to take the advantage of that. Wingers with pace at the moment are doing fantastic, and the cutback is doing its job pretty well, I must admit. So Madueke, again, you've got, I'm not going to go for an evolution for all of them, but there is a chance of evolution on a lot of these lower rated players, giving them a little bit more of a shooting boost. If you can get them 2 evolutions, then he goes up to 77. Unfortunately, the pace goes nowhere. Another cheap one. Now, it's purely just name basis more than anything. Cucurella is a fantastic one. Pace-wise, a little bit questionable. Like I said, if you've got Madueke coming in with 90 pace, there is definitely a balance between being able to sprint past somebody or maybe not setting up correct. So if I go in against a Madueke, for instance, and he's already kind of going at me, if I mistime that tackle, I mistime where he's going to be to get the ball, he's bursting past me. Now, if you're running down the wing one-on-one with each other, you're constantly going to the byline, you will still be able to keep up. Now, he probably will take his advantage, and you want to be definitely cutting off the run rather than running side by side, but the defensive ability of him is always fantastic. And again, an 84 coming in pretty well. He's also got a few role pluses if you want to set up that as well. So picking your custom tactics, going with what you know is best, and trying to find the players that A, are cheap enough to go in there, and also then having a role plus it will make a massive difference. If you remember last year with how the role pluses were at the start of the game, it is massive to try and get anybody that has got the style that you personally play. And sometimes it can do wonders over just going over the ratings. Now, one that I have been absolutely loving, and hilariously, he doesn't have the roles that I play, is Timber. He is fantastic for the price that you're paying, for the positions that he can go with. He can go left back, right back, centre back if you really want to, and he does an absolute job. So he is most definitely in this book. And again, chemistry styles are going to be fantastic for you as well. You look at the Shadow, a +6 now and a +4 on the defending. It's a great start to any sort of Prem team, and then also linking any Dutch players in. So another great option with him there. We are going up in price as well, if you've not noticed already. Endrick. Now, to be honest, I've not really heard anything about him, to be fair. He's kind of just been that guy in the wind. He's unfortunately not had the season of a lifetime, and now we're coming back at the 77. I imagine if he doesn't necessarily get to any starting games, and especially with Mbappe in there now, Mbappe, Vinny, Rodrigo, I mean, where does he actually fit at that point? But Evolutions is going to be a great point for him. He's still a great striker in the game once you get him up there. He's got some nice pace. You add a little bit of shooting to him, a bit more dribbling. He's got the advanced forward plus already. Rapid, quick step. I don't know why I want to say quick start. Then obviously game changer and power shot. It's a nice start for him that could be a potential evolution later on down the line. Now, a big factor that you'll find in a lot of players, if you're not going against a God Squad already, if you've not come up against a Bateson with the team that he's got is just outrageously good, playstyle pluses are far and few. If you can somehow get around the pace of Tielemans, he's got a wonderful passing on him. And if you've played the game, passing is exceptional. Composure is going to be a massive one in my eyes. And I think with Tielemans' 88, he's going to be able to distribute the ball so well. The pinged pass over to a winger, coming out as that kind of DM, holds his line. He can get the challenge in. Yes, you're not running one-on-one, but if he sits in that middle of the park, working on the defence, working up to maybe the halfway line, pinging passes, it genuinely could be a great role for him, in my opinion, especially with that composure on there as well. We then have Ake, another great starter centre-back. You obviously will have loads of different ones you can go in. I've managed to get Tomori, who's been an absolute god gift in this game. But Ake, Akanji, when he was at City, are always great starter 83, 84 centre-backs. Solid amount of pace for a centre-back, obviously great defending, composure's up there, and he can play left-back if you really want him to. Now, I do think he's better as a centre-back, even though as full-back he's technically in my role, but he's a nice, easy one to get on board with. One that I was surprised with, I know he's not had necessarily the great starter this season, but Watkins at 2.8, if you're looking for any sort of striker that potentially could either get an Evo in the future, or just somebody that is solid up front, you definitely want a second partner with him. I wouldn't necessarily go a 4-3-3 with him. I think he needs a bit more of an ability to go through, and there's definitely one in this list later on that is exceptional. But I do think as a striker, if you're going 2.8k, he's definitely going to be pretty decent across that line, and does get the English goals or English team if you're trying to do Bobby Moore as well. Now, this, I think we've got the two here, in fact. Keane is always exceptional. Great striker, tall, has obviously the shooting ability, the pace ability. The only thing he doesn't have this year, a little bit of strength is lacking. I thought it'd be a bit more in my eyes, but naturally, if you're building a Serie A team, he's always been the man. He's a great striker to get on board with. 3,000 coins. It's nice and easy. You can get on board with him. Absolutely no problem. We then also have Wissa. Another solid one coming in with the pace, the shooting. Yes, a little bit smaller, but I think if you're looking at him as a dual striker, having him and Watkins together potentially, both combination of some decent shooting, but he is just that slight bit quicker. Yes, the composure's a little bit on the lower side, but could get in behind, knock it back to Watkins for the shot. There's lots of different ways that you can actually go. And like he is, he's kind of meant to be that poacher. Now, obviously a lot of people are using the advanced forward still, so whether you want to upgrade that at some point. Another Serie A, and I think at the minute my two favourites, Prem and Serie A, have definitely got some nice, cheap starter cards. And Edison is a great one here. Ability across the board is fantastic. Box to box plus, which is exactly where I'd go. He's got every vote of confidence in me. He's got some lovely play styles, relentless, aerial force, I want to say is that. Anticipate, intercept, long ball, incisive. And I want to say that's precision something, precision header. He's got everything. He's a great starter, so he is definitely not to be overlooked. And one of the Prem ones, Tell. Unbelievable. Very tall at 6 foot like Keane, and naturally got that prowess to go through. Now, strength is the problem, but out and out pace, fantastic. You could potentially get him with the +1 on the shooting, but I believe in fact, I think you could do it twice, in fact. So into the evolution. Yeah, so we can get up to 82 shooting if we really want to. And I do think with Tell, he's only then going to be 79. I think that's a great way to go with him, especially because we are slowing the Evos down. 79 is more than enough to go through. You've just then got to watch, has he got too much pace? Has he got then too much shooting for the next evolution? But regardless, for me, for 3,000 coins, very nice French striker going forward. Also then a bit of Coman, now gone into the Saudi League. This is where we can make some kind of changes. This is what I said, going nation or league, it's a lot easier. Naturally, if you're going to go with the Saudi League, plenty of players in there coming in quite cheap, as we always can imagine. And the one thing I actually want to know, he's got the rapid, which is going to be fantastic. 24,000 for Ronaldo. It's one that I haven't really looked at, and I want to see what's Messi. 30,000. I mean, that's crazy. Then we've obviously got Gittins, another one coming on the left-hand side now, with a bit more pace, definitely lacking on the shooting a bit more, 73 on the composure, but he definitely will be able to get down that wing, and we've still got a few more that can do that ability, and it does it very well. We then move into the centre-back role with Konza, Konza and Aki together. Solid pairing. Good pace on the centre-backs. Obviously coming in at 6 foot, which is enough for a starter centre-back. Solid amount of defending. Composure 81. Easy. Very easy. And he obviously gets the English links as well, going in for our boy Bobby Moore. Eze. Now, this is where it gets interesting with someone like Eze, because naturally, stats-wise, he's got a good amount of dribbling. That is going to be the one key thing you take from it. Then obviously we look at him in terms of pace. A little bit on the lower side, which is fair enough. He's going to be the ball distributor more so than anything. But then the one thing that you've got is the 4-star. It's hard to come by. You've got a few people that have got a 5-2, 5-3, 4-3, 4-2. But 4-4 at this stage of the game is going to be commendable. It's going to be a nice ability to have in that middle. Now, is he the best in that role? Of course not. But for the price that you're paying, if you're doing a specific squad, easy one to throw in and get yourselves a nice English cam going on. Hanko, moving into Atletico Madrid now, always a great centre-back in the Eredivisie. He obviously comes in with a little bit harder links when it comes to the Eredivisie, because naturally you're either building an Eredivisie team or an Ajax team, even though I don't think he played for Ajax. Who did he play for? Where's the... I can never find it. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Ajax, but regardless... Great centre-back in pace, defending, physical, 77 on the composure. You're probably just going out-and-out shadow. It's a good enough centre-back, especially in the lower end of La Liga. I tried to bring in a few leagues if I could. Kudus, another one that's going to be great for the positional awareness of him. Left wing, right wing, striker, everything you need. Playstyle's a little bit lacking, so I would suggest trying to give himself at least some of them playstyles going forward, but then also having the inside forward plus on the right wing and the left wing is very nice in my eyes, and he is a 4-star, 3-star going forward. Cunha, I think, is purely just my kind of bias at this point. But again, another 4-4 cam, little bit more pace. Obviously, the shooting's pretty decent. You can obviously go ahead and whack something a bit more on him, depending on if you're going for that sort of cam role or if you are going for the striker. Now, obviously, with the striker, if you're looking at something like a Hunter, max out as much as possible. They've got the Catalyst going for the cam sort of role, which again is more than fine. You can get the 84 passing, but Engine would be another one that I'd possibly be looking at, just to give himself a little bit more of a bonus there, and having the shooting as a solid amount. So I do think as a Brazilian as well, always nice to have. Same as Szoboszlai, very similar in that sort of aspect. You'd be looking at an Engine, bit of pace, good amount of passing, and then the dribbling comes in pretty well. They may not have the playstyle pluses, but the 4-4 at this point, being in the Prem, is always going to be a nice kind of stat and positional awareness to have. We then also have Gordon coming in a bit more expensive now at 5.2, especially when it comes to wingers. He's going to have a little bit more on that composure, and this is where it kind of works out for that 83 coming in. He might not get many evolutions to boost up that shooting that little bit more, but he's still got that ability to go through and get a couple of goals, especially if you do whack that finisher on him. You're looking at an 86 winger already. Left wing and right wing, inside forward plus on both. it's a great starter left wing to have in your team. Which then we move into a goalkeeper, to be honest. You could go with two. I think Vicario and Pope have been two of my more favoured. We've kind of gone with Pope for more of the English vibe. Vicario from last year was still fantastic to get in there. He's just a standard keeper, doing what keepers do. We then also have Ola coming in as the right back, 5.6, great amount of pace. Now he can play left back, right back. Obviously, you're going to be looking more towards the right back. And if you want a wing back plus, this is your guy for it. Some great ability on that pace. Throw the anchor on him. 91, 82, 79. As a starter right back, I'm not going to complain too much. It's great pace, good defensive ability. Composure could do with some work, but naturally, we're looking at these sorts of players as a means to an end. Now, Mateo was one of the ones I've managed to pack, and unfortunately, she has got the chip shot plus, which isn't the one that I want, but naturally, because people are kind of letting people through one-on-ones, the keepers are coming out a lot more than you think, and chip shot does work out a lot of the time when they're coming straight at you. But I just think in terms of how she comes off from the bench for me, the great pace that she brings to the table, the shooting, you throw the finisher on her as well. You've just got everything you need as a starter striker for 6.4. Now, obviously, you will need more of a French link, if anything, or if you're going for D1, that will work also. But if you can get her in the team, she's got the 4-star skills, and she bags goals like they're nothing else. Then, David Neres coming down in price, which is nice. He's dropped 24%, which is even better. And I do think some of these players will continue to drop on the higher end because they're not necessarily worth the 6k. But again, another one with some good pace. But the one thing that really kind of stood out for me is obviously the 5-star skills. Always got to be fantastic for the dribbling. But then the 85 composure, the agility balance, everything works in his favour. You whack the finisher on him as well. He's a solid player going in as an 81. That's great stats to have from when you're looking at a lot of these players. He's definitely going to be one that's well worth having a look at. We then also have Gakpo coming in as the 84. Again, another player that, to be honest, he'd suit really well in that cam role. Now, he's got the inside forward plus. He is out on that left wing more so than anything. Again, you've got a few different ways that you can go about it. Engine is obviously one of them. Bit of pace, dribbling and passing. You could either go then for a finisher if you really want, if you've got enough on that. Hunter, if you're going for more of a kind of out-and-out winger striker. He definitely can work it with a 4-4, but if there is a chance to get a positional change for him, I think the cam could really suit him down the middle. We then have Çalhanoğlu coming in with his Incisive Plus. Now, if you've remembered kind of how passing works, the Incisive Plus is going to be phenomenal in this early game setup, especially if you're going against players that just defend like they've got no thumbs. And I am one of them. You will be able to put that ball through every single time down the wing. And with some of the players like David Neres and coming in with some of the other Serie A wingers, he's got the 5 weak foot, he's got the 4 skills. He is going to be an asset in the defence. Now, obviously, you're going to look at more of a shadow because he is meant to be a DM, but very much like how Tielemans will do it with the pinged pass, Incisive will work the same, and I think he's going to work it effortlessly. Then you could throw in someone like a Loftus-Cheek, an Ederson, coming in the middle next to him, someone that's going to be more box-to-box, if anything, and have them kind of overall stats, and keep Çalhanoğlu just sitting on the back, pinging passes everywhere. So it's always interesting to see where you could actually get players together. Bruno G, again, another one that's very similar. He's been absolutely rifled with a skill move weak foot. 3-star, 2-star. I just don't remember players being an 86 and being this low. Clearly, there's going to be a lot of evolutions that do raise that and not necessarily raise any of the stats or any of the overall. But I cannot wait to see that because naturally, he needs a big push. He's got to have the shadow at the minimum. But in terms of kind of effortless play, his passing's good. His composure's fantastic. He's going to be a starter player for like the first week, and then we need to start seeing upgrades. But I think for the start at 7k, if you could get him a little bit cheaper, he's going to be wonderful. Now, obviously, everybody's cottoned on to Undogi. He was outrageous last year. He is slightly coming down a little bit, but it's only 1.2%. But he was brilliant as a left back last year, and most definitely is going to have that same ability again with that 88 pace. Coming in with a bit more composure than most. He's going to be looking at more of an anchor, if anything. 91, 80, 83. He's a solid player. Now, yes, 8k might be a bit expensive. He will drop massively, but if you can get him in as a starter left back, you've got the funds to be able to put him in. Even if you lose 7k on him. The amount of games that you could put him in, I think he'll make it back for you. And he's definitely one that I would be looking at every single time. And then we've got a few that I'm really happy to play. I've played with and also against now. Pedro Neto is worth nightmares. His wing ability and also striker ability is just annoying. He gets through and there's just no catching him. The 4-4, the quick step rapid mixed in with his amount of pace he's got. You throw the finisher on him. He's just like wind. He just goes. So as much as he is expensive, he is dropping slightly. He is worth the pennies to try and put him in there, even if you're going for the striker with him as well. And another one that honestly is nightmare is Elanga. We saw it last night. Unfortunately, they did lose to 2 very good Rashford goals, but he is electric. Down the wing, he is phenomenal. He's got the pace. He's obviously getting the shooting up there a little bit more. Again, another one that can go with that inside forward plus. I think, what even is that? Intro. Oh, okay, yeah, I was going to say, I was like, it doesn't give you a +7. Obviously, he's going to get the +1. If you really want, I think he's going to be another one that is well worth the investment and trying to get in for that evolution. So, definitely with Elanga. Then we go in for another Serie A player, Dumfries. Absolutely exceptional last year, and I don't think it's going to change this year. You can obviously go with the anchor if you really want, but I would say definitely looking at that shadow. Keep him lengthy, bit more on that pace. He's got a good amount of strength and a good amount of physicality already. Solid. For 8.6, if you're building a Serie A team, or even just a Dutch mixed team, beautiful. You could throw Ake next to him. Obviously, De Jong would be... And where is De Jong, actually? I've not really seen him too much, but De Jong coming in as 199. Wow. But if you're building that Dutch team, easy. Robinson throwing in himself in that kind of topper aspect over Undogi, and I must admit I would prefer Undogi, so I think they are both around that same sort of price. I think Undogi will definitely take him on at some point, but pace-wise coming in is a solid 82 that you can throw in there. And then the final 2 we have got Jonathan Tah coming in as an Anticipate plus. If you're building that Bundesliga team, I do think he's going to be a solid centre-back. If you compare him with a young buck, somebody with a bit more pace, he's definitely going to do the defensive style, and then you're going to have somebody else running around after him. But for 9k, I think even an investment point of view, might not be a terrible shout. And one of my favourites coming in the midfield, Thuram. French with plenty of links. You can throw him in the centre mid of a centre mid 3, a centre mid 2 if you really want. Kalanoglu could be there as well, but he's going to act as that box to box, and he's going to get some nice evolutions in the future. So that's going to be everybody that I've seen so far. Let me know if there's anybody else that you'd like to see as well, and I'd probably do in a couple of days an upper list of 10 to 50,000 coins. So let me know if you've liked it down below, and I'll catch you all for that next one. Peace.